Welcome to today's webinar, the first ever deep clone webinar with the title Effortless Epic Cloning. This is not the live webinar because unfortunately we had sound issues within the live webinar and we did a re-recording of the webinar for you. The webinar has the title Introducing Epic Clone Presets with Deep Clone for Jira. Today we want to show you the new feature Epic Clone Presets. And with me is my colleague Nicolas Frossard. He is Technical Director at codefortynine.
Yeah, hi everyone, and sorry again for the audio issues during the live webinar yesterday. Hopefully this version will be a bit easier to follow.
And thank you, Nico. And I'm Marlene Kegel, Product Manager at codefortynine. So the agenda for today's webinar is we want to give you a short introduction of Deep Clone for Jira, and then Nico will show you the new feature Epic Clone Presets in a live demo. So I guess most of you have already worked with Deep Clone for Jira. For those of you who haven't worked with Deep Clone for Jira before, we are the most powerful cloning app for Jira Cloud. And we have the goal to provide all use cases around cloning in Jira. So as you can imagine, an app like this has not only one use case, but we support a lot of use cases. And I want to talk a bit about three of them. So the three most important use cases of Deep Clone for Jira. So one use case is for support agents who work in JSM projects. They get a ticket from a customer and there was an issue and they want to escalate the issue from support to the dev team, for example, to second line support. And they use Deep Clone for Jira to clone and move single issues to other projects along with comments. Another use case is usually suitable for Jira admins. Imagine if a team wants to merge, like two teams want to merge into one team and they want to have all their issues within one project, or a company got acquired and they want to move all the Jira issues from one instance to another instance, or a team decides, okay, we don't want to work in a team managed project anymore, we want to work with a company managed project. They can use Deep Clone for Jira to clone thousands of issues from one project to another, or from one instance to another, or clone entire projects, for example. And the third use case, which is very common, is teams that work with template issues. Imagine you're an agency and you have customers you have to onboard every week or every month. You have certain steps to fulfill. You have to do it on a regular basis, and they're either the same or similar. For example, signing contracts or onboarding them with certain information. You can create a set of template issues or a template epic or project, and then use Deep Clone to clone that issues, projects, or epics or other issue hierarchies. And we believe for that third use case, if you work with template issues, the new feature, the Epic Clone preset, will be very, very valuable to help you speed up your process and avoid mistakes. And now I would like to hand over to Nico so he can actually show you the new feature in Jira.
All right, thank you, Marlene, for the introduction, and let's start the presentation. So before showing the new feature, before showing how it is now to clone epics in Deep Clone using presets, I want to explain why we had the idea for this feature and why we thought it would be important to add it to Deep Clone for Jira. So I will start by cloning an epic without using presets. So this is a very simple epic I'm using with a few stories and subtasks in it. And using Deep Clone for Jira, I can just go to Actions and select Deep Clone to clone this epic. So I have the choice now between single clone, which would be basically only cloning the epics without the issues in the epic, or doing epic or tree clone. And that's what I'm going to do because I want to clone this epic. In that case, it's an action initiative, so it's a set of 3 epics and 6 issues in it. And to clone this, I can select a target project. And if you are already using deepclone for Jira, you probably know this form already. So we have a set of settings that are always available when you're cloning issues. For example, I can decide to clone subtasks along with the issues. I can decide to clone components, versions, maybe comments and attachments. Maybe I want to use a specific summary for the issues I'm cloning, etc. And also, deepclone is providing validation. So deepclone is telling us before we start cloning if it's going to work or not. And in that case, I can see that it's not going to work because some subtasks have a missing description. So they don't have any description, and description is a field that is mandatory in the target project. So fortunately, with deepclone for Jira, you can edit fields in the issues you are cloning. So I can select the description here and maybe set a fixed value for the description. Or maybe I can do something more advanced using Jira expression. I could say that the description will be the issue summary. So if I do this, every issue we are cloning, we have a description set to the value of the summary of the issue. That's actually a very powerful feature in deepclone for Jira. You can do a lot of stuff with Jira expressions. So if you're interested, you can click on this and click on the link to our documentation to learn more about Jira expressions. But yeah, for now, I will select this simple expression and I can start cloning. And my epic is right now cloning. So that was the use case that we had until now, and that's perfectly fine. But maybe you are cloning epics every week. Maybe you are cloning epics every day even, and always using the same settings. Maybe always setting the fields the same way. So it's a lot of settings that you have to enter every time. And maybe you are also doing some mistakes because it's basically a lot. So that's why we decided to offer some kind of templating. So that's called presets in deepclone for Jira. So you can see at the top of the form, there is this dropdown where you can select a preset to load. And right now in this instance, I don't have any presets defined. So I can click on Manage Presets. And I will switch to the view where I can create and edit presets. So this can be accessed in Apps, deepclone, and then clicking on Manage Presets. And I can see that right now I don't have any epic presets created yet in the instance. We also could create presets for single clone. So when you are only cloning one issue, or bulk clone, that's when you are going to clone a lot of issues. Single clone presets were already available in deepclone for Jira, and it's the bulk clone and the epic tree clone presets that are a brand new feature. We developed and released this feature 2 weeks ago, actually. So let's go ahead and create a new preset for epic clone. I have to select a name for the presets, and then it's basically the same form as before. So I have exactly the same options. I can select what I want to do. Again, set a prefix summary, and again, I will set the description field just to be sure that it's going to clone without any issue. And now I can save this preset, and I can reuse this preset every time I want to clone an epic. So I will switch back. Maybe this time I will not clone an initiative. Maybe I will clone a single epic with a few issues in it. And again, I'm opening deepclone for Jira, selecting epic clone. Again, selecting my target projects. And now I don't have to set all my settings. I can just select the presets I defined, and everything is defined automatically, including the edit fields, for example. And I can clone straight away, and it's going to work. So that's one brand new feature we've added. But as you just saw, it's still a few clicks to be able to clone the epic. I still had to select epic clone. I still had to select a target project. Maybe I want to clone to another instance. In that case, I have to select the other instance and to load it, etc. So it's still a few clicks. And if you are really cloning presets, if you're really cloning epics on a regular basis, that could be a lot. So we decided to add another option, which is to add the presets to the issue action menu. So I will demonstrate it with a new preset, maybe epic webinar action menu. So I select this option. I can choose between create and confirm, so to get a create dialog, or maybe to clone immediately, so to clone the issue straight away. And maybe this time I want to clone to another instance. So I will select the other instance. And now I have the projects of this other instance. I can select where I want to clone. Again, all the settings of deep-clone4Jira can be configured here, and saving the presets. All right, and now if I come back to my epic and I look at the actions, I see deep clone as before, but now there is a new action, which is the presets I just defined. And if I click on it, it will be triggered automatically. So right now, I'm not clicking on anything, and everything is done automatically. As you can see, it didn't work, and I have some validation error from deep clone, which is that the component field is required and has to be set. So that's okay. I can go back to my presets and go to edit fields and say, okay, when I'm cloning using this preset, the component has to be set to this value. I save it, and I will start again. And as before, everything is happening automatically. And now I can see that the cloning is working. So that's probably the fastest way you can clone an epic using deep-clone4Jira now. So today we spoke about epic clone, but everything that we've shown, except for the action menu I just shown, but the rest is also available for bunk clone. So when you are cloning a lot of issues, so that's probably something you are already doing if you are using deep-clone4Jira. So it's not an epic we're cloning anymore, it's just a bunch of issues. And right now I'm cloning every issue that was created today, basically. And as you can see, now we also have in the bunk clone form the possibility to load presets. So that's one I created before the presentation with a lot of options selected. I also have a few fields and so on. So that would be it for the presentation regarding presets. And I'm going to use this opportunity to speak about a few other features we released recently. So in deep-clone4Jira, you can always click on release notes here to see what we have done in the app recently. So if I'm searching for this year, you can see that we have 15 entries. So we have been adding a few things to the app already recently. One thing I wanted to mention is these actions here. So you can now pause or go back or cancel running clones. That was possible before, but only for single clone. And now it's also possible for bunk clone and for epic clone. Also, you have the possibility to run the clone in the background. So if I'm clicking here, I will not have to wait until the completion of the clone. I can just say, okay, please let me know via email when it's done, confirm, and it's going to clone the window, and deep clone will continue cloning in the background, and you don't have to actively monitor it. If you want to see what's happening and how far it is, you can go to the clone history, which is also a new feature, where you can see the history of every clone job that was started on the instance. Like if I'm going to Epic Tree Clone, I see a few of them are the ones that I created before for the demonstration. And I can also see the one bun clone I just started, so I paused it. But if I come here to show and I resume it, then it's going to resume cloning. And once it's done, I'm going to receive an email with a sum up of everything that happens during cloning. Another thing that is relatively new in Deep Clone is, so we offer the possibility to clone projects. And before you could only clone company managed projects, but now you can also clone team managed projects. And one feature that has been asked a lot is the possibility to clone projects between instances. That's one we have in our backlog, and we hope to be able to start working on it in the future. And yeah, on that topic, don't hesitate to reach to us with feature requests. So we actually love having feedback and knowing what our users want for features. The Epic and bulk presets, for example, are basically a feature request that we got a lot, and that's also why we decided to work on it. And the last thing I wanted to mention, in Jira, you can now select dark mode, and we added support for the dark mode in Deep Clone. So if you are like me and you like using dark mode, it's much better now than it was before. Yeah, and I think that would be it for the demonstration. I will stop sharing my screen and hand over to Marlene.
Yeah, thank you, Nico, for the cool demo and also for the outlook to the future. I will share my screen again. So that was the first ever Deep Clone webinar. If you have any questions or, as Nico mentioned, any feedback to us, then reach out to us, to our support team. Your feedback is very valuable to us. And we also, of course, will reply to your questions, usually within one working day. So we're there to help you. And if you want to learn more about Deep Clone, maybe if you haven't worked with it before, you can visit our marketplace page and download the free trial. So thank you for your time. Thank you for watching the webinar, and have a great day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.